What's up, IG? I'm your host, Rex Jackson. And today we have our guest, businessman, educator, ball player, hooper, YouTube star in the making, HoopPolitics on, man. Sigourney. What's up, brother?
What's going on, baby? You doing all right?
Hey, man, you know it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Looking good, strong.
Yeah, trying, man. Trying to get the hair going. You looking good yourself, man. See you clean.
Appreciate it, man. It wasn't growing, so I had to stop kidding myself.
Hey, man, you all right? You got you doing everything else, man. You good. Don't worry about it.
Appreciate it. So what's going on? Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you, man. So as you know, we run the Legion Sports Podcast. We're starting to go live and shoot videos and stuff. So, glad to have you on, man. Just want to get caught up, talk a little bit of sports with you. First and foremost, man, tell the people, man, about yourself. You run the HoopPolitics YouTube channel. Tell people about that, man.
Yeah, man. So as you already said before, my name's Sigourney Jackson, and I'm from Waldorf, Maryland, and just basically played a whole lot of basketball, middle school basketball, high school basketball, state championship games, reclassified from the class 2011 to 2012, prep school, played a lot of NBA guys, Karl-Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Montrezl Harrell, a lot of guys who are, in the G League or playing high level overseas. I had to play with them or against them. Left from over there, did 2 years of JUCO, was one of the top JUCO players in the country on the Jerry Mullins list. Went on and played Division II basketball, and after having an injury, kind of lost the love for it a little bit, and decided to go in a different direction. So I came up with the HoopPolitics channel. Me and a friend of mine, real close friend, came up with the idea. And just thought that a lot of the stuff that I had went through during my basketball journey were things that probably could have went a little bit different if I had just had a little bit more information that a lot of people don't give out. And I just said to myself, it's probably doing the right thing if I give that information out for any up and coming young hoopers, and so that they can have a better basketball experience and journey than I did. And that's not to say I didn't have a good journey, but maybe it could have been a lot better if some things had panned out a little different. But at the end of the day, God's in control of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you mentioned about how things might have been different knowledge or information you could have had. Obviously, the name of your company and channel is HoopPolitics. So I'm assuming there's a lot of things about basketball that go under, kind of go swept under the rug where people that are not players don't know. But do you feel like you could talk about that, but from the training aspect, do you feel like there's information that you don't have from the, preparation and how to train and work, and how some of the stuff that we have today, outdates a lot of things from back then. So just where you at on that?
I think that, yes, you're right that there's a lot of things that go under the rug that a lot of people don't necessarily know. But removed from that, as far as working out is concerned, there's a couple of things that I wish I had known, but at the same time, it's not necessarily things I didn't. Say that again. I'm sorry.
That will keep you from it.
Yeah. As far as working out is concerned, there aren't really a lot of things that I didn't know. What I realized is that the higher you go up, the more you start to realize that a lot of people, a lot of like basketball trainers are doing a lot of things that just looks good for the camera, but you really don't have to do that. A prime example is, if we probably have seen Instagram videos, YouTube videos of a basketball player working out, and they'll have them do, dribbling the ball with two hands, pass the ball with one hand, dribble around 5 cones, pass the other one, catch it, dunk it, run to another side, catch it, shoot it, pick up a medicine ball, run all the way across the court, grab another ball, dribble, shoot, just a whole bunch of obstacle course type workouts that aren't necessary, and I think that when you're younger, a lot of times it sometimes when you're younger, it's hard to ask questions when you don't necessarily have the experience to back up what you might be asking. And plus when you're dealing with adults. So a lot of times I think we're raised to just think that, okay, well, they're the adult and I've never done this before, so I'm just going to do it. When in reality, of course there's a way to go about it. We're being respectful, but it's not wrong to ask questions of like, why? Like, why? Tell me how this makes sense, or why does this make sense? Show me somebody you've done this with, or show me people who do this at the level I'm trying to go to. So I think that as I got older, I realized that working out and getting better as far as drills and things like that is actually very simple. It's just a matter of doing it consistently every day. You know, whatever the workout is, you know, it's not, I'm going to do this one incredible workout and then tomorrow I'm going to be an incredible shooter. I'm going to have a 40-inch vertical. More so than you realize that your workout isn't necessarily something you do every day. It's more of a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, you wake up in the morning and you do your 20 push-ups and you don't treat it like it's a workout. It's just kind of like, no, I do 20 push-ups. And 2-3 years from now, you're just going to be strong, you know, because you've done it every single day. It's a consistent thing. So I know that's really long-winded. I'm sorry, but
You're good.
Thank you. But yeah, I think that as I got older and I start seeing things and kind of getting out there and seeing NBA guys, I start seeing NBA coaches, I start seeing all these different things, I start realizing, oh, like what they're doing is simple stuff that, you know, I had been doing, but I was told I needed to do more because the reason they're there is because they're doing something special. But in reality, what they're doing is regular stuff. They just do it every single day.
Right. Yeah. And I think, and I mean, you make a good point as far as,
Bubby, what's going on, baby? Y'all know Bubs, that's Bub.
Okay. What's going on? So you make the point of, you know, I look at, you know, being somebody that's in the industry now that's training people, and I think about, you know, obviously we come up, our workout was, you know, get up and run, you know, 100 push-ups, 100 setups before you go to bed. Don't touch that game.
Right.
You know,
right.
Don't touch that game until you've done your, right? And
right.
And it's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. And we made it simple because the access to information was not what it is now. It was not even close, right? Yes. And, you know, like I said, being in the industry now, learning what I'm learning now is like, and I'm not just talking about from the baseball perspective or basketball, but from the overall training aspect of it, is that, you know, it is as simple as doing a squat, doing jumps on a tire, things like that. But because, you know, we didn't have the information, we didn't have anywhere to turn to. And to your point about asking adults, you know, I don't think because it wasn't a large amount of access to it, no one could really challenge any idea of thinking, right? So
absolutely.
And you as a kid, you know, us as kids, you know, obviously we're you know, you brought up to respect your elders and be respectful, and in terms of sports, you know, you don't know really, we don't know, but there's a lot of but there's a lot of complexity that comes in with the training part of it now. There's a lot of science has got more involved.
Yes.
So a lot of way that you can, you know, obviously depending on your leverages and depending on your height, and, you know, you're going to be more successful in different ways, but you can also train, right? You can train your body and train your mind to be better in certain, you know, just different aspects of the game, right?
Yes.
Jump height, agility, right?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it's crazy to see how things have transitioned, you know, and then the bad side of that is that they're like, you know, another to your point is that there's a lot of glamorous workouts, right? There's a lot of, like you said, jumping, doing this, which I can't say I don't fully disagree with you, but I don't fully agree either, because some of it does, because I think a lot of it comes from, you know, some athletes that are able to, they're a little more advanced, and you do have to challenge them, right? So you got to train them under different tensions, and right. But overall, the everyday person that's just trying to get better, they don't have to jump off a building and into a pool and then off a trampoline and
Right.
to increase their.
You gotta build them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you're not gonna for example I see you training some kids on a channel, a young kid. I saw you doing the turn to go and catch, and the thing is like that's what, and and I'm not saying I'm a training expert at all, but I can look at that and I can say that's what he needs right now, keyword right now.
Yeah.
There's no need in bringing somebody in who has never worked out or who has never worked out a certain way to train for certain type of muscles or certain types of sports. There's no point in bringing them in and trying to put them under an NBA level workout.
No.
You're going to tear their body up. You're going to hurt them. And you're going to discourage them mentally. Why would I tell somebody who's never done push-ups before, listen, we're doing 100 push-ups every single day. Like, and I think that, and that's why I do like science and where we've come, because I think that it's really America's thinking has always been, no, just keep working, push harder, rub some dirt in it, you'll be okay. We push, and then when we get there, we push even further, and we senselessly just go at it. But when you look at other countries, Germany, Russia, where some of the strongest men in the world, some of the strongest powerlifters, some of the strongest wrestlers, some of the best basketball players overseas, in today's day and age, there's a science behind what they're doing where they're saying, look, we're going to build you every single day. We're going to work every day, but we're working smart where we can maintain your body for the years to come while also still being good at what it is you do. So I'm glad that the science and where we are today has improved, because now we actually can challenge some of the things that our old ways of thinking were taught to us, and we could try to create better athletes, better players, and more importantly, longer better players and longer better athletes.
Yeah, I agree. That's the thing, is that, like you said, that's your program is only as good as the people are able to do it, and as well as you're able to coach it. So there's no need to, I fully agree. My thing is, what I've learned is making sure people are safe, right? You got to make sure people are safe, and that's really the value of what you're doing, is that they can progressively get stronger, and they're not getting injured because you're going balls to wall. I do follow, I think that you got to keep that. You got to keep that. I can do more. I can push harder. You got to keep that mindset, but in terms of that old school of just pound,
just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, but you know what, and like it says, because of the sciences, that people have been able to take each muscle group apart, determine that, based on the athlete. So if you're a pitcher and you want to throw harder, they've been able to find out what muscles actually, control your arm velocity, your arm speed. Obviously, the whole body makes up the and if you're good, they've learned how to, and that's why you see so many velocity programs. You see a lot of jumping programs. You see a lot of force output, and all these, they've been able to section everything off and say, hey, this is what controls.
Right.
And, which, anyways, it's pretty cool.
No, it is. It's awesome. I enjoy it a lot. I find myself nowadays looking at this stage of my life, the things that I find myself looking at a lot is how can I do what I'm still doing at 80 years old, 90 years old? Yeah. At this stage of life. And the thing about it is, truth be told, it's how it should be even for children, anybody in life. How can I have longevity? Longevity is everything, Yeah. And so I find myself now looking at a lot of different, people reading, doing a lot of research just on strong legs, strong knees, strong back, your core, your mental health, a lot of different things. What kind of foods are you eating? Eating for your blood type, a lot of different things I find myself researching now not necessarily, and so I could just have rock hard abs when I take my shirt off,
Mm-hmm.
but more so, how can I still get up and run if I want to, play basketball if I want to, feel good about myself mentally and emotionally, when I'm 80, 90 years old, so I think that a lot of stuff you're talking about is definitely cool for sure.
Respect. We've been watching a little basketball, so I mean, did you want to talk? Did you want to tell people about? I wanted to ask you a few questions about the state of the NBA right now.
Lay it on me.
Yeah, Draymond. Did you want to talk about? I wanted to give you a quick second. You didn't really get into HoopPolitics at all. I want the audience, man, to know about the great work you're doing. I mean, you climbing at such a high rate. The quality of the videos have just been progressively getting better. You've gotten more creative. Kobe forever, man. He's got, you got the backdrop. So I mean, I just give you a chance to talk about what inspires you to get up and put these videos out. Talk about maybe some of the struggles you might be dealing with. I just want to let you rock out for a little minute.
Oh man. First of all, I appreciate it. I would say the reason why I'm doing this, and it sounds so corny, but it really is the truth, is because I don't want people to go without the information. Mm-hmm. It's almost like I'm trying the difference between people who are successful and not successful.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who aren't successful have tricked themselves into thinking that it's because this person worked harder or because this person is some freak of nature. And a lot of times that could be the case. LeBron is a freak of nature. Mm-hmm. Kobe, freak of nature, Kevin Durant. But even outside of basketball, a lot of times what separates successful people from unsuccessful people is just knowledge. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. It comes down to, look, I know that there's this showcase going on next week.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I may not be the best, I'm going to get the opportunity to be seen. Mm-hmm. And most people don't even know that the party's going on. Prime example, we've been kids, going to high school. We all had an experience where we went to the club or we went to a house party or whatever, and we saw a hot girl. Mm-hmm. And we either got their number or we didn't. But we all know that there's somebody out there who wasn't at the party. They had no chance to get any girls.
Yeah.
So you can't get a date if you don't show up to the party.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of people don't know there's a party going on.
They don't know.
Because the cool kids or whatever mm-hmm. are texting their group of friends and saying, hey, look, I got some friends who are coming from California. Mm-hmm. 20 or 30 of them. We're gonna have a nice little shindig over here, and
right.
And it's invite only.
This is before Facebook.
Yeah. This is invite only. We're gonna get on MySpace. We're gonna get on Instant Messenger. We're gonna get on Black Planet. We're gonna send these around mm-hmm. to just a couple people, and only y'all show up. And essentially, that's kind of what basketball is, mm-hmm. And so what I'm trying to teach people is, listen, bro, there's a party going on that y'all don't know about. And this is the party.
Yeah.
And you need to be here. Not necessarily, you got to come out here and get 50. Because a lot of these people out here aren't getting 50. But they're just showing up, because they show up, they have the opportunity. And I just want people to have the opportunity.
So I don't want to interrupt. So when you say the party, and I call that as quality information. When you say there's a party going on, what exactly is the party? Is the party these training camps, these showcases? Is the party the game itself? What is the party what aspect of it all is the party that you feel like people are missing the boat on? That is the difference between their success and their failure. Them knowing that there's a party. What is that?
So this is about to sound like meta, uh-huh. But the party is everywhere. And the party is at all different levels. So like this.
Hey, this is good.
Yeah, so it's like this. The party could be at high schools. Yeah. Hey, look, this high school right here, you might be able to go over there and get 20 or 30 mm-hmm. and have a good career. Mm-hmm. But this party over here, this other high school, mm-hmm. you go over here and you average 10 a game as a senior, and you could be in the the Big East.
Yeah.
You know, this AU team over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can go over here and play at these little rinky-dink AU mom and pop things, but there's an AU team over here that's having tryouts next week.
Mm-hmm.
You go over there just because you're on the team. You'll go D1 somewhere. Junior college. Hey, look, I know people right now. I talk to them all the time. I know people right now who went from one JUCO where they were All-American, like second team All-American as a freshman, 6'7", averaging 20 and 10, playing the shooting guard.
Yeah.
No offers. Left, went to the top JUCO in the country in Florida, hasn't played a game yet, has 3 offers, D1.
Mm-hmm.
Even from the college level of 4-year, you can go, and nothing against them, but like you can go to Morgan State if you want.
Right.
You can go to Morgan State, nothing against that.
Yeah.
But you getting 20 points over at Morgan State is not going to mean the same thing as you getting 20 points at Duke.
Yeah. Well, even 10, like to your point, even 10, 15 points, 10, 15 points over at Duke is equivalent to 25 and 30 at a MEAC conference.
Exactly. So it's
no disrespect by the MEAC. I'm a East Coast boy myself.
Right.
Just talking real.
Right. I committed to an HBCU school originally, Miles College down in Birmingham, Alabama. Like I'm for HBCU. It's all love.
It's all big.
For sure. And so it's like there's a party going on at all levels. The problem is that people don't know there's a party going on. And most likely the party is in your neighborhood.
So, but what you're saying is that it's not about that they don't know what's going on. They don't know the what you just said is it sounds like people are going to parties. They're just not going to the party that matters.
Right.
They're not to the party where the jocks are and the cheerleaders. They're going to the party where they're playing Jenga and checkers. Right. And you're saying that that's not scalable, right? Or the ability to scale that is so much more difficult, right? Where you're trying to put yourself in this position where you're going to look great to just scoring 30, right? But then you look around and you're playing retired bus drivers and teachers.
Yeah.
Right? You want So I agree with that. I mean, the level but then it's 2 parts to that, right? Because, and I know you've talked about this with your audience as well, and I haven't probably expressed it a lot, but it's about 2 going where you want it.
Absolutely.
And that you don't have to be at a Duke or at a Kentucky or, Georgia, you don't have to necessarily go to these programs to be seen.
Right.
And I think baseball, coming from a baseball is a lot more difficult or not as it's probably less difficult than basketball and football because basketball and football don't have as many avenues after college that you can go. Baseball has indie balls, 6 levels of minor league. There's a lot of, but
yes, sir.
But so it's not. You're saying too is that you got to first of all know that there's a party, right? Know that there's a party and know the difference between the parties.
Yes.
Okay. I agree. I agree. Good.
You have to know the difference between the parties. That's the first thing. If you don't know there's a party going on, you've already lost.
Yeah.
Once you know that there's a party, this is what you have to know. Let's just make it very simple. I'll make it very simple like this.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 ways that you're going to get to the NBA. There are 3 ways. First way, you're going to go to one of the bigger schools and everything else will kind of take care of itself. That's politics. Now, I'm not saying if you go to Duke, you're going to the NBA. I'm not saying that you got to be decent, but you go to a big school. That's the first thing.
You say you got to be decent?
You got to be decent. Like, I'm not saying that just bums can just show up and that's it. But even though that happens sometimes, but you got to go to a big school. If you don't do that, the second way you get in, which is also something you can't control, you got to walk in here and already be 6'8" and above. You 6'8" and above, all right, look, bro, I mean, it's going to kind of it'll work itself out, especially if you come in 7 feet tall, you can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah.
You're in there. The third way is this, which goes to your point about picking the right school.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to pick the right school. It's another thing to pick the right school that also puts you in position of where you are trying to be. And there are two different things with that. Prime example, I'm 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
I can go to a college and the coach can say, listen, Sigourney, you're going to come in here, you're going to play 38 minutes a game. You know, you're going to start. We're going to have you running off of screens, catching and shooting.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the school for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have the knowledge yourself, which is also something I teach, to know where's the NBA game today. Are shooting guards 6'4" in the NBA today? No. Most shooting guards, unless they're freak athletes, but normally the point guards are about 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
So I have to say to myself, if I want to be in the NBA, most likely I need to be playing point guard. So now I have to make the decision, do I go to this place that really wants me, but they don't see me the way I see myself?
Yeah.
Or do I go to this other place where I may not play right away, but they're going to build me and put me in position to be where I want to be at down the line?
Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel like that is and that's, it makes sense. Systems are what build these great players, these championships, and right? So I'm with you. But how much of that is ownership of the player to develop his game? Because that coach maybe, comes in and recruits you, but they're recruiting you based on he's recruiting you. He sees you you're performing as a shooting guard or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You play or whatever, that's your style. So how much ownership is it on the player himself to develop what he sees being the NBA? Obviously, if you can get your coach and your school to have some foresight to say, hey, look, but also they're thinking about now. They're not thinking about a lot of these schools, if they're bringing you in, you're 4-star, 5-star, right? And I'm just, you correct me if I'm wrong, but, they're thinking about their program right now.
Right.
I'm thinking about you being there 4 years because they're bringing you in at 1 year, 2 years to do whatever it is you do.
Right.
And they know that you got bigger thoughts, right? So they're not bringing in this. Guys don't go 4 years.
Right.
Guys don't go 4 years anymore, right? So,
right.
But what I'm asking, I guess, is to your point, how much of that is ownership on the individual player to say, hey, look, I'm only 6'4", I can shoot, I can come off screens, I don't have a good handle on the ball. How much of that is them and developing that way?
Oh, it's on them to develop.
Mm-hmm.
It's on them for sure to develop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, going back to what you were saying with the colleges and, they're not thinking this. They're not thinking that way. They're trying to see you as you are now.
Yeah.
That right there, which, goes into even bigger thing that, can turn into a whole nother conversation.
Mm.
That right there is why there's only about 10 schools that produce NBA players. Because there's really only about 10 coaches or 10 colleges that are thinking about the player and saying, we're trying to put you in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Most coaches are thinking about, what can I do to win games and to keep food on the table for my kids? And they're not wrong in that, because at the end of the day, it's a business. So,
right.
I'm not going to ever fault no man or woman for, doing what's best for them and their family to put food on the table. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, that right there is why it's so important to either pick the right school or pick the right coach. Prime example, John Morant came from Murray State. Murray State is not a big-time program like that.
And but, you know what? He was coming out of high school. He was a 4 or 5-star guy.
No.
He was.
John Morant?
Yeah, I saw a little thing about something. We all assumed because he went to Murray that he went under the rug or 2-3, but he was a 4 or 5-star guy.
I'll tell you this.
Okay.
And this is what I know. John Morant, the story of John Morant is this. Ja Morant played next to a shooting guard. I can't think of his name right now, who was 5-star, who ended up going to Ole Miss. He also played on the same AU team with Zion Williams. They were all from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Morant didn't get any recruitment. He he averaged like a triple-double or close to it, like in high school, all that kind of stuff. The way he was found was at an AAU event. They lost the game, and he was in the auxiliary gym playing 2-on-2 with some kids. And a coach walked by and said, "This guy's a lottery pick," and they offered him on the spot. And that's how he ended up at Murray State.
Right.
But the thing about it that worked perfectly, which, you know, I'm not saying that he picked the right school because that's probably the only school he had. But the thing about it is, even though Murray State isn't a big-time program, their style of play is up and down, shooting, one-on-one. And they have a history of sending point guards lottery. They already had Ja Morant, they had Isaiah Cannon, and they had Cameron Payne, all who went top 10, top 5. So even if you don't go to the big-time school, that's why I say it's so important that you pick the right coach, because there are coaches out here that are in smaller conferences that say, I have a specialty in developing the point guards or developing the shooting guards and making them go lottery. And if you can get in a situation like that, you'll be fine. So you have to pick one of the two, either the right school, like, you know, big time school where it don't really matter. You go in there, you average 10 and you'll be all right for the most part. Or you got to go to one of those schools where the coach sees something in you and says, I can make you into what it is that you're supposed to be to get to where you got to go. So it's very, very tricky.
And that depends on probably their job security, because that's what everything comes down to. If you think about like a Shaka Smart, that was while he was at BCU, maybe, I mean, he's been at Texas now he's been there for
5.
He's been there for a minute. Since you said 05? No, not 05.
No, for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I feel like he's been there. He left there the year after the VCU run. So he left there like the year after that, or the 2 years after that, and that was back in VCU was almost in 12, I want to say. At any rate, he's been in. You could look. I don't know. Look,
I think something like 2014. I met Shaka Smart in 2012 at a AU event. He might have left like 2014 or something.
I'm looking at it now. He's been there. He's on his sixth year.
So 2015.
Yeah, so he's been there for a little bit. But Shaka Smart, though, is the first guy that comes to my mind. Is somebody that in a VCU program, the expectation to win is not as high.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about. And that, like you said, he's obviously you can't go in there, you can't wet the bed, but you got a little more, hey, you know, we're mid-major. You know, I see the process. You know, I'm going to give you 10 years. I'm going to give you 10 years to develop a program to let's focus. Let's change our mind. Let's change our mindset of we need to compete. We need to compete with Kentucky and Kansas and Duke, which are asinine thoughts depending on where you're at. And he's like, let's focus on getting players and building good character individuals, and so on and so forth. You know, and like you said, you have to find a situation, man, that allows that growth. That my thing has always been is, you know, we ourselves as the athletes have to put ourselves in the best position. We need to do every single thing we can. We cannot leave it to chance. In the sense of, like, we just have to do the work. You know what I'm saying? But you can increase your odds. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, if you want to win the lottery, first you got to get the money to buy the ticket.
Right.
You know? Right. So it's like, and that goes back to the accountability part of, or you saying, you know, that you didn't even show up to the party.
Right.
You didn't show up to the party. So how do you feel that you're entitled or should know or should be considered for this position? You didn't go to the interview. You never went to the interview. So my thing is that, well, okay, I know about the interview. Let me put on decent clothes.
Right.
Right. And I think, and I'm using that as a metaphor to say how much the work you put in, right? obviously education, you got to know about what you're doing, but ultimately the work you put in, right? You're bridging the gap between what's possible for you and what you see, and you're doing this, right? And it may never come completely aligned, but you just better your chances, right?
Yeah.
You better your chances by buying more lottery tickets.
Yes,
right?
sir.
You got better chance at 15. If you buy 15 lottery tickets as opposed to you buy the one or two, right? Chances are, man, you might win.
Right.
I
But
think,
you're not gonna win if you don't know there's a lottery going on.
yeah. And if you don't buy a ticket,
Right.
and I fully agree with you on that. And I think that, like I said, for me, man, I've always thought that a lot of in basketball and football are such they are very
Small window.
yeah, it's a small window, but it's I don't know what it is about it, but it's very political.
Yeah.
Very political. It's very I think it's the personalities that end up in those positions of coaching, because there's such a demand. I think it's you got to be very type A.
Yeah.
You have to be very type A in a football atmosphere, because you at the end of the day you want the respect of your players. Otherwise, they're not going to follow suit. And I think, I don't know, just the people that go through those situations of not getting the opportunities, or being shunned based on, coach's son, or right. We don't want to just tell people that that's all it is. But
Right.
So at any rate, I find that it's been different. My experience in basketball, I played basketball and baseball, and the basketball, not, I feel like I could have done more. Right. I could have, but I feel like there was always, if you're not one of the guys, you're just not one of the guys. And the only way to overcome that is really being just the best. You got to just be the best.
Right.
For you. You just,
and the thing about that, not to cut you off, but the thing about that is this, and this right here might sound like a all lives matter or participation trophy type of take, but it's this. I shouldn't have to walk in every single room and be the best just to get an opportunity. I shouldn't have to walk in. So to go what you're saying with like basketball, if you're not one of the guys, you're just not one of the guys. And then you said the only way where you can kind of overcome that is by just coming in and being the best. My thing is, I shouldn't have to walk in every single room and be the best just in order to get an opportunity. Because ultimately what I'm doing is I'm trying to push my way into a situation where there are other situations out there that'll just accept me. So for example, what's up, Juan? So for an example, if I'm a point guard and I want to go to Murray State, but they have John Morant, they have Cameron Payne, they got Isaiah Cannon, they have Rex Jackson, all point guards. Why should I try to force my way in to go play for them when Bowie State down the street is needing only a point guard? So ultimately what I'm just trying to get at, which kind of goes back to, not only the politics, but just being smart as an athlete, is you have to be able to read the room. You have to be able to know not only what do you want, but can you get what you want and also give somebody else what they need?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can't, then there's no point of forcing your way into it, because there are other situations out there where y'all can have a nice mutual agreement, and there's not going to be struggle and push for it.
Right.
So, I'm not sure if that's like really making sense on like what I'm saying, but
it does. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ultimately, all I'm saying is just, we as athletes as a whole, I think in all sports, we as athletes as a whole have to stop thinking that if I didn't make it, then it was just I wasn't the best, or I just didn't work hard. A lot of times there are just other things at play, and you can get all the love that you wanted from a team or from a school or from an organization if you're just willing to open your eyes and go look somewhere else. But that takes a lot of self-reflection in yourself to say, am I willing to accept that what I think is best for me is probably not best for me? You know, can I accept the fact that Duke, I want to go to Duke and I've always dreamed of going to Duke, but Duke probably isn't for me. Instead, Coastal Carolina is for me. And Coastal Carolina is actually going to put me in a way better position than me forcing myself into Duke would have.
Right. And
you know, just a little something.
I feel that. Yeah, I don't know. Man, there's so many layers to it. There's so many layers. You know, we could rap about that all day.
And real quick, that's and what you just said right there, that's the exact reason why I constantly say at the end of all my videos, yo, God's in control at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. Because we could go, and I'm not saying that you're opposed to me, but let's just, you know, for the sake of it, we could go your route and just say, look, you got to work hard and you got to beat everybody out. That's the only way you're going to make it. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm just saying for the sake of the conversation at this moment, we could go your route if you had that route. Mm-hmm. We could go that route and you could work hard and do all that stuff and you could make it, or you could not make it. You could also listen to everything that I'm saying and you could make it, or you could not make it, or you could mix both of us and make it or not make it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's so layered and there's so many different things that are going on to where at the end of the day, it's a crapshoot, you know, and wherever you're supposed to be at is where you're going to be at. So I just always say, look, bro, you can listen to my information and I'm giving you some good stuff. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you don't make it, don't blame me.
Yeah.
God has control of that. You talk to God about that.
And you know what? That's funny. That's
a fact.
Hey, look, that is a terrible, like, look, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but like, you know, you tell them everything, but I don't know for real. You know,
right. Know. Like, look, bro, like, couldn't be me though. Like, you know, like I ain't telling you that, you know, he did you like that, but couldn't be me. Like, you know, come on now.
Can't be me. I mean, but look, God's in control. Your situation is your
fact. Your situation, bro.
You know, our philosophies, to me, I take that. I think, to your point, like, they're both valid and both invalid.
Mm-hmm.
They're both very valid. Like, at the end of the day, you're not getting anywhere without hard work.
For sure.
And at the end of the day, if a coach or a certain situation doesn't give you an opportunity, you're not getting anywhere either.
Right.
Right. Like, you could be, because, you know, like, even if, and I try to talk to my players, and I don't have, like, kids that are, like, super jerks, but if you're, you know, you could be the best player. You know, that's usually the character dynamic that, you know, we used to see, is that the athlete or the whatever that was the best, he was the alpha, was usually an ass.
Right.
Right. And I try to tell you, like, hey, you know, you don't have to be, and not that I really, most of my kids are guys are, you know, they're cool, right? They don't have that problem, but
that's great.
You don't have to take that road to be great, right? And then that certain things will limit your marketability, right? Might limit all those things. People that want to just deal with you, you know, but some people will, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's so layered, man, that it's just like I said before, your best bet is to do all the work that you can on yourself and get as educated about yourself. And I think, and I don't know if you can speak on this, but I think too is, I look at how things are today, and I don't know how much of that gatekeeper mentality still exists, even in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I think about I'm a big fan of, like, comedy, like the ADD, All Def Digital, and some of these other factions. They don't have nothing to do with sports, but
right.
The cool part about all of them is that because YouTube exists, because Instagram exists, because the internet exists, and they're comedians, they're not necessarily showing up at a stand-up,
right,
to get pennies and to try to be seen, right? There a lot of them are taking destiny. What I'm saying is the gatekeeper with people being able to market themselves,
right,
in sports now, right? You know, at the end of the day, you're not getting a contract based on you're not necessarily getting a contract based on your Instagram, but at the same time, you might, because I've seen, I know from pitching standpoint, if you go to like carnivals or some of these other things, and they have these like baseball, how hard can you throw, right?
Right.
I saw a guy, man, a few guys get up there, they do that, they're on vacation or whatever, but they got somebody rolling the camera. Dude,
Right.
95, gets a phone call.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much of that applies in basketball, is that you can market stuff, and does that help you, even if you do have that personality defect or that, what we're just talking about, the politics of it, can you still, no?
I see what you're saying.
You understand what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, because this, and I agree, but there's always a drawback to everything in life. But this is what I'll say. When I was playing, there were 2 teams that you had to be a part of if you wanted to go high major. Team Takeover produces Victor Oladipo, Jeremy Grant, a lot of, big time players from our DMV area. Or you play for DC Assault, Quinn Cook, Michael Beasley, Marcus Thornton, pretty much every DMV guy that's in the NBA right now that is anywhere around the age of like 24 and up came from either Team Takeover or DC Assault.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and back then, there was the Nike EYBL. That was it. And it wasn't even the EYBL. It was called the circuit. You just had to be on the circuit. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a Nike EYBL. There's a Under Armour like EYBL. There's Adidas. There's about 20 different teams now in the DMV. So you can play on an actual real event in front of college coaches and get in front of people. Yeah. And that's true. To your point, yes. There isn't as much gatekeeping until you go in from being like college to pro, because,
ain't nowhere,
Yeah, they're not making more college.
We're not here if you don't belong.
Exactly.
We like to do, like I said, close out questions, man, to about the people, about the specific stuff. Wanted to talk about the Draymond thing, but we can scale that. We can, leave that out for right now. In the NBA right now, I want to, and you can, however you want to answer this, but who do you feel like needs the most help to make them, to take them from, who needs the most help to transition them into being actual NBA champions? You go with your, see what I think. And what, and 2, what trade can potentially be made to make that happen? What do you see in the league right now?
I think that the Boston Celtics, I think that what they need more than anything else is rim protection. I think that they need a true rim protector. I think that they already have 2 great scoring wings in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think they're both going to be superstars. I hope that they stay together. When I look at them, I see young Vince Carter and T-Mac when they played with the Raptors back in the day before T-Mac went to Orlando. They just don't have any true rim protection. They have just a whole bunch of wings and a whole bunch of just guards, really. The person on the market right now who I think is perfect for them to go grab is Andre Drummond from the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are trying to get rid of him right now. And I think that they'll get rid of him for peanuts, because at the end of the day, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers and they'll give up anything for anyone. So I think that, I think that if Boston Celtics probably gave up like a bag of potato chips, 2 phone cases, and probably a bowl of mac and cheese, they could probably get Andre Drummond right now. And I think that will take them to the next level where they can compete, because they have the scoring, they have the wings, they have the defense. They just don't have the rim protection.
I think that's a good, that's a fair trade. That's a fair trade. 2 phone cases. Quality.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Come on now, Pelican.
Yeah, for sure. I respect that. I'm going to go with, I've been watching a lot of the Lakers and Golden State. And let's go back real quick. I just want real quick. What's the, let's say Boston doesn't get it done this year. What's more likely to happen next year? They break the team up or they fire the coach? And what do you feel like is more, which one is probably needs to be done?
Fire the coach.
I don't see them getting it done with this team.
I would say what's more needed would be, that's such a hard question to answer because I think that breaking up the team isn't something that needs to happen. I think that
you were right in what you said. I don't mean to interrupt, but you were absolutely right about the rim protector. Because if you look at that team with the Al Horford team, right, as those young players were getting, Tatum and all, but they had the Kyrie situation,
right,
and had that team looked like they were the NBA, the best team in the East,
right.
So I agree with you, but now they let him walk. Now these two players have risen, and now, like you said, there's no rim protection. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to.
No, you're definitely cool, dude. I think that there needs to be a breaking up of the team, but not breaking up the team. Really, they just need to trade like one or two guys.
Who?
Probably Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
And I love Kemba. I think he's a great point guard. The problem is, and it's not even a problem, but something that I had said about a year or two ago is this. Boston Celtics, they are not ready to win a championship until Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the best players. And what I mean by that is this. Last year, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were the best players, but mentally they weren't the best players. They still needed Kemba Walker, to bail them out. By at some point or another, buttholes are going to get tight, and we got to rely on the veteran Kemba Walker to hit the big shots, run the team, and set them up. Mm-hmm. Miami Heat beat Boston last year, not because they were the better team. They beat them because they had a bunch of veterans who just knew how to win. Mm-hmm. They knew how to win. They weren't better than Boston. Boston still does not know how to win. So you have to either be willing to wait for them to develop and figure out how to win, Tatum and Brown, because those are your best players, or you have to bring in another coach who knows how to win. Mm-hmm. Because even Brad Stevens hasn't won at an NBA level like that. So you got to bring in a coach who just kind of like how Doc Rivers came in and has changed Philly right now.
Yeah.
Philly really is the exact same team they were last year, but they have a different type of coach who got a different mindset and is teaching them the ways of winning and how they have to come in every single night.
Yeah.
So either one will work, but it's got to be the right thing. Like if you trade Kemba, you have to trade Kemba knowing that Tatum and Brown know how to win and they don't need somebody to save them anymore. And if you do that, you trade Kemba and you try to get yourself a solid, good point guard, somebody who can play off the ball, who kind of is just looking to pass and get everybody else involved. Mm-hmm. And if you decide to not go that route and you decide to fire the coach, you got to go and get, a San Antonio Spurs type of branch, coach. You have to go and try to maybe get a Mark Jackson. Mm-hmm. You got to go and, if you could have tried to bring Doc Rivers back. You got to get a coach who just knows how to win basketball games.
I'm with you on that. I think, and I agree with you. I think, I think Boston is to me, they've been sitting on that for 5-6 years. And I think it's something, and I don't see them. They lost today. They lost today. And I don't see, anyway, I think that something's got to change. Something does have to change.
I'm not mad at that.
I think Kemba's a good fit there, but
I think he is too.
Yeah, but he's like you said, you feel like he's coddling the other two. Jaylen Brown has that mentality, and if you look at Rozier, how Rozier's doing in Charlotte, man, right? That's probably the kind of point guard you might need or needed.
Right. Well, this is what I was.
And there's way you could say that because how he is now, right? Hindsight, but and he wasn't necessarily but
I think, and real quick, and we can go on. I think that what Boston needs is they need a Fred VanVleet.
I like Fred.
And what I've said now for the past like 2 or 3 years, and people have now actually started agreeing with me. Fred VanVleet is modern day Derek Fisher. He's not necessarily an incredible athlete. Mm-hmm. He plays good defense, but he is undersized. But he hits big shots. But he's really trying to just get everybody else involved. And when you need me, I'll hit a shot for you. And I think that's what they need, because I feel like Boston can only be at their best when you say Tatum and Brown take me there. Like, that's it. Like, there is no more, I need an extra guy who can go and get 30 or 40. Like, Terry Rozier can do that. But I feel like if Terry Rozier goes out and tries to get 40, it will be at the expense of Jaylen Brown and Tatum's 40. So you need somebody who can just kind of come in there and say, here you go, here you go, here you go. And when y'all start getting double, I'll hit the shot for you.
Yeah, and don't back away from what you said, because you were right on the money with them needing that big man presence. That rim protection and just that they need that. And I think when they got rid of Horford, I think they got real top heavy.
Yeah.
They don't have the arsenal. Scoring is not nearly enough to combat the defensive lack.
Right.
I was gonna say I look at obviously, being a Laker fan, I like LeBron. And I look at Golden State. And this is granted, this is saying that Lakers, because Golden State, and I think we've had a conversation, Golden State needs separation from Steph. If you watched the Orlando game the other night when he was trying to get that last shot, because he was the only option for that threat, and because they know he's the only option, especially when it gets late in the game and so on and so forth, I mean, he has to work so hard, right? He has to work so hard, has to come off 3 screens to get a ball. He has to dribble, he has to do so much because there's no Clay on the opposite side.
Right.
And so and the person that I think about is Lonzo Ball.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Hear me out. And I think about Lonzo Ball. Lonzo has developed a shot this year. Lonzo has developed a good 3-pointing shot this year. We were talking about Scary Terry. I ain't gonna disrespect him, but
what's Lonzo gonna do?
You say again?
What's Lonzo gonna do?
Why don't your internet was cutting out?
No. My internet is perfectly fine. My bill is paid. What's Lonzo gonna do?
I think for me, and let me apply him to the Lakers. And I'm talking about the player that he has become now. He's been able to spread that floor a little bit because he can shoot a little bit now. He's developed a shot. I'm not saying that he is, and I'm saying also too because the Pelicans have been looking to move him. The Pelicans have him up in trade talk, and look at his numbers, look at his 3-point percentage, and look at his aggressiveness because he still has the other parts of Lonzo, but now Lonzo has transcended. He's got with the trainer over the offseason and really put in time on his 3-point shot. So I look at a Lakers team, and granted, if they need an AD to make it all work. If AD's not there, it's a wrap, no matter what they do. But bringing AD, if AD's there, right, they can get that extra perimeter shot because they missed out on Danny Green from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I like Schroeder coming in as opposed to Rondo. Rondo is a veteran and knows how to play, but I think they flipped and started being more offensive minded because they let JaVale and they let Dwight go as well, which I love. I like them being down there. So they kind of switched it, right? But I think Lonzo could be applied to that team to give that space, and Golden State, if they just said they wanted to do something, they have the pieces, and it wouldn't cost you but a bag of chips.
Right.
Giving up a second. You're not giving up 2 first rounds for Lonzo. You're giving up, and no disrespect to Lonzo, but you're not giving up the farm for him. You're giving up, maybe one quality, decent player, one other, but maybe it might be a fair swap, And I think for Golden State, I think they just to get the pressure off of Steph. If you feel like there's another threat on the other side of the floor, they feel so confident in double teaming him because they know there are no other options.
Right.
Right. And that's the difference of Clay not being there. And I'm just saying kind of the man the ship until everything, but go ahead. I apologize a little.
No, you're cool. I think that Lonzo is still Lonzo at the end of the day. And I think
I said just nothing. You don't care know what I said.
No, because this is the thing. In theory, if what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah.
But we know that can't be the case because
hey, get off my show.
because the Pelicans right now have 2 superstars on their team and they're getting doubled. like Zion and Brandon Ingram are out here getting 30. They probably could get 50 if Lonzo would just hit a shot or two consistently every game.
Let me pull up.
So my thing is, Lonzo will have a game where he'll hit 7 threes, and then for the next 3 games, not hit any, but take 7 threes a game.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, he's too up and down. And then on top of that, it's like, bro, if you throw Lonzo in there, bro, that's no different than throwing Kelly Oubre on the team. Like, you have
Kelly Oubre is no. What do you mean? Kelly Oubre is a good ball.
Look,
Kelly Oubre. Look, we could talk about Kelly Oubre is balling.
Look, I know you like his hair, and I like it.
I like his tenacity.
It's all there. It's all there. It's all there.
Huh?
I said all of his tenacity, his fearlessness, all that is there.
Hey,
my problem is this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have you as my starting wing, and one night you get 30, and the next night you get 6. Now, if he was coming off the bench, a guy, but the fact that like you're just so up and down and inconsistent, and you cannot hit a consistent 3 to save your life. I'm not gonna now say, you know what? You know what we need? Lonzo Ball. Like, no, I'm not saying that. Like,
look, I see Oubre as being some type of superstar or some guy, but I see him being a character person for one. He's to me a more skilled. He's a little more athletic Draymond Green. I think so. I think so.
Kelly doesn't have the IQ of Draymond.
And
that's all Draymond is.
What?
IQ?
Yeah. Well, Draymond's not just Draymond is also the grit to me. Draymond is the personality. So yeah, IQ, yes. But I'm talking about you need an Oubre to go up against guys. A guy that's gonna get his hands dirty, that's gonna knuckle up. Whatever. You don't need him to get 30. He gets 30. You're like, great. But ultimately, it's hard, right? So I'm saying it from that perspective. Lonzo, and I got his right here. He is progressively getting better, man. He's at his 3-point percentage. Make sure I'm reading this right. His overall field goal percentage is gone from 403 from last year to 426. Okay, he takes about 7 threes a game and shoots about, what was that, .388?
So 38%, which isn't that great.
38%?
That's 38% basically. Yeah. In a nutshell, that's 38%.
Yeah, and so he's averaging 14. And he's gone better. He started his career at 10. He's been in the league about 4 years. 10 to 9, 11 to 14.
Okay.
1 steal. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that he's coming in there being a problem stopper or anything. Like, I'm not, in no way am I saying that. It's like you said, it's just Lonzo Ball. But I'm looking at the path. I'm looking at the work he put in this year, and I'm just looking at the fact that I'm looking at what's available also.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking about too. I'm not just saying let's go pull guys from teams. I'm talking about people that have been made available. And the Pelicans, I think, brought, they were talking about shopping them, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's why I said that. But
right,
I ain't gonna be able to convince you that that's a
nah. Cause I mean, and we can move on, but just gonna say this because to even go back to what you're saying of we don't need somebody who can get 30 or really even put up a lot of points. We just need like the grit and the toughness from Kelly.
Yeah,
right?
from Kelly. From Kelly.
Okay, this is the thing, right? So this is my response to that.
Who?
Man, I'd rather them pick up JR to go to Curry. Yeah. But so this is the thing. This is the thing that I'll say to this. This is the thing I'll say to what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want Kelly to basically be grit, toughness, get his hands dirty, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
What's the point of having Draymond? Like, I can't have two starters who want to get their hands dirty, and between the two of them, they got 8 points.
No, that's
somebody's got to score. So what all I'm getting at is all the things you're saying that you think Kelly can do is what Draymond already does. So either one or two things has to happen. Either I need to put Kelly on my second on the bench to be my second unit. Move Kent Bazemore into the starting lineup because he kind of understands how to play with Steph. He hits a lot more shots. He plays good defense, and he brings a lot of the same energy that Kelly Oubre does. Or I have to trade Kelly because I can get some good pieces for him, and I need to go and get me a bench, and I need to go and get me like a good starting like wing type player, to put next to Steph. But really, a lot of these problems will be solved next year when Klay comes back, because if I'm Golden State, Klay comes back, I'm trading Kelly, and I'm going to go and get me a bench because I already have Andrew Wiggins as my 3.
Yeah.
I already got Wiseman at my 5. I'm going to trade Andrew. I'm going to try to get me a decent 4, and I'm going to build my bench. Hell, if Golden State need to get somebody right now, trade and try to get Lou Williams. They said that he's on the trading block too or whatever with the Clippers. Let him be your off-the-bench scorer and just be somebody who can also get you 20 or 30. Or at the worst, you could start Lou Williams next to Steph and just let Kelly come off the bench. So now you got your 1 or your 2. You got 2 guys who can get you a dub. You got Andrew Wiggins who'll throw in whatever he throws in. And then when Klay comes back, you start Klay, you move Lou back to the bench, you take Kelly and you trade him and you build your bench. And you're ready to rock out for the next 2-3 years.
I agree. I didn't know about Lou Williams being available. That's a good trade. Like I said, we both know and agree that even if the team is constructed now, I'm just talking about if they wanted to do something this year. But everything goes away once Klay comes back.
For sure.
Basically,
so then what moves you think?
Yeah. But the thing is too, and I think for what Steph does, man, there is no comparison. There is nobody like Steph or Klay, right? Being pure that doesn't exist in the league anymore. It's just being pure 3-point shooters. Okay?
Right.
But let's move on. Real quick. I know you gotta go. I got 2 more things, okay? So one more basketball question, and we're gonna leave. We're gonna win one more basketball question. And we'll do one, and then one kind of like introspective, just like a personality, like, whatever. The basketball question is, what team are you most excited for moving forward? Like what team has the pieces that you feel like, what team are you going to be most excited about moving forward? Or it's going to be the most fun to watch?
This year or next year?
Moving into the future. Not necessarily this year, because everybody is what they are now, but
right.
The teams that have the pieces of what you can see in 2 years, 3 years being formidable and everything like that. What do you see?
I think the Warriors will still be fun to watch. I think
they're going to be better to me.
Yeah. I believe that after next year, the Warriors are going to have about another good 4 to 5 year window to possibly get some chips. I heartily believe.
They drafted so well. They got Wiseman. Well, I think Wiseman is a beast.
And the scariest part about it is if the NBA is lucky, Warriors will make the playoffs. Because if they don't make the playoffs and they're back in the lottery, when they draft again, coming back, everybody's in trouble.
They're gonna. I'm with you.
So if the NBA is smart, Golden State, they better find a way to let Golden State playoffs.
They're going to be better to me. They're going to be better than that dynasty.
Yeah, I believe they'll have the opportunity for sure. I think Golden State, I think Phoenix will be fun to watch. Phoenix with Devin and CP3. I think Portland is still going to be fun to watch. And I think Brooklyn will be fun to watch.
Moving forward, you talking about over the next few years?
Yeah, because the key thing is that I said about every single team, if you look at every single team that I name, all of them, they're like all of their best players are players that dominate based on skill. When you play with skill, you play forever. So you look at Kevin Durant coming back from the Achilles injury. It really wasn't a big deal because he's still 7 feet tall and he was always just shooting over you anyway. Klay Thompson's going to come back and be fine because his game was catch and shoot. He wasn't Westbrook where he was crossing you over and coming down the lane and punching on you. Kyrie's still going to be skilled. Damian Lillard's still going to be skilled. Devin Booker's only going to get more skilled. So all of these players or all these teams, even though they might be considered older, I think that they'll still be fun to watch in the next 4 to 5 years because all of them are skilled players. So I expect them only to be better because I feel like you can always get better with your skill. You just always physically can't get better.
I agree. I agree. I think for me, I probably have two teams I'm thinking of.
What's up?
My number one team, Minnesota.
Wow. Okay.
I like because Minnesota has not been very good.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of their ball this year. I love Edwards.
Yeah.
Edwards that cat is going to be a star, right? And I think he's got to your point, he's got a good mix of skill. He's a lot of athleticism because he's 19 or 20 years old. He's supposed to, but he's got a lot of skill as well.
Yeah. Yes.
And I like Malik Beasley as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched him.
I love him. I love Malik. I liked him back when he was at Denver. I say to people that Malik Beasley to me is Bradley Beal without the handles right now.
Yeah.
Freak shooting. He just doesn't have the one-on-one skill yet that Bradley Beal has.
Well, Malik, he got some pat. He got a little pat.
Just not on the level of Bradley Beal. That's all.
But that's Bradley Beal. Ain't nobody got it like Bradley Beal.
Until Malik Beasley get more pat.
Yeah. So I think and not to be insensitive, but with Karl Anthony Towns, I know he's gone through a lot this year. But speaking purely basketball, if he could arrive and be that big threat, the big man force that we've all been waiting on, that team to me in a couple years is going to be extraordinary. Granted, and then they're coming off of a year that's, this year they're decent now.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you've watched them, but they're a good ball team. They're just young and don't know how to win. They probably won't make the playoffs, but they'll have another draft pick. Get some type of. They'll be fairly high up in the draft in the next year.
Right.
And him? I wish I don't disagree. I can't say anyway. Keep this a family show. My second team, man, is that I had it on my the Knicks. Yeah. What? Hey, listen to me. Laugh if you want.
Shout out to Julius Randle. Shout out to Julius because he can work.
Shout out to Derrick Rose who doing this thing over there. Shout out to AJ Burnett or is it AJ
Barrett? RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett. I apologize. RJ Barrett. Shout out to him. Look at where they are now.
Yeah, they're playing way better. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I think that chemistry, that they get some of that dysfunctionality out of that organization. They're gonna be fun. I think in the next couple years. They're winning right now. Right, we'll see how it plays out, but I think they got money to spend.
Well, it's the Knicks. They always got money to spend.
Huh?
It's the Knicks. They always got money to spend.
Don't nobody want it.
There's a reason why.
I'm good. I'm all right. I'm cool. I'm cool. Let me say that, and I'm gonna ask you your last question and let you go. But I'm not a big fan of watching what's the name, the Clippers. Yeah. I don't know. Is that just me or is that you?
I'm not a big fan of it, and I think the reason why is because it's like they talk so crazy. They were talking so crazy last year.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't want to see or hear from y'all until playoff time come. When playoff time come, I'll take whatever you're doing serious then. But until then, y'all are me. Now, still the truth.
I don't enjoy watching them. They're just not fun. They're not fun to watch for me.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. They'll probably win. Bless you. They'll probably win. But y'all did all of that last year and got railroaded.
Yeah, you can't talk crazy to me like that and then lose like that and then expect me to, and then I'm not gonna even talk about Paul George. I'm not gonna talk about him. Just
he needs to take them cornrows out.
I mean, look, man. He said he back. That's what he said. He said he got his trainer. He said he back. So,
take me if you want to talk about Indiana, Paul George.
Nick, what's going on, baby?
If you want to talk to me about Indiana, Paul George, I'll gladly oblige. I'll even talk to you about OKC, Paul George.
Right.
I don't want to hear about L.A. George. I'm good.
No.
Don't talk about it. Indiana George, legendary.
Oh, for sure.
OKC George, ain't bad. This one,
Right.
We'll see. We'll see in a couple months.
Right.
All right, man. I want to leave you on one more question. It's two-parted. I want to leave you on two questions. So, this past year has been pretty crazy, right? 2020 and everything. And you can answer, however you want. What did you learn most, maybe about yourself or just in general from the past year? And what are you most looking forward to coming to 2021?
Oh man.
Completely different direction from sports, huh?
Yeah, I think two of the biggest things that I think I learned from 2021 is that God is good. Because it might sound morbid, it might sound horrible, but people say that it was one of the worst years like ever, 2020. But honestly, 2020 is probably, dare I say, one of the best years of my life.
Yeah.
I was, I expanded my mind. I got to, learn about myself more. I upgraded myself in a lot of different ways. I invested more into my channel. Honestly, 2020 has been like a blessing of a year for me. The one thing I'll say that I learned about myself is how disciplined I can actually be. I think that my discipline is something that I always struggle with growing up when it wasn't something I cared about. If I didn't care about it, then I have no care to be disciplined in it because I don't care about it. Mm-hmm. But this past year probably was one of the first years where I was disciplined in areas that I didn't care about. And I proved to myself that I was capable of doing it. And I think that changed my mind completely and, basically just led me to believe how much I could do. As far as 2021, what I look forward to more than anything else in 2021 is peace of mind. Just peace of mind. And I know that's something that could be so hard to obtain at times, but honestly, like as basic as that sounds, just like I look forward to peace. I look forward to happiness within myself, happiness with where I'm at in life, and happiness with the people that I have involved in my life. And that's really it. As long as I have that, then I couldn't ask for anything else, honestly.
Solid. I respect that. Okay. Hey, so look, go ahead, man. We're gonna go ahead and shut it down. Thank you guys for everybody that's watched. Do you wanna tell them where they can find you, man? Tell them about the show them all your platforms, everything you got coming up, man. Let everybody know where you come from.
Yeah, man. My name's Sigourney Jackson from Waldorf, Maryland, man. And y'all can find my YouTube channel at Hoop_Politics. Actually, my Instagram, my Twitter is Hoop_Politics. YouTube, just type in Hoop Politics. It's going to pop up. Just dropped a hot video yesterday. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe. Y'all hit the notification bell to stay up to date on everything that is Hoop Politics. And always remember, God's always in control, man. Peace.
Peace, man. God is always in control. All right, guys. Thank you, God. Thank you to our guests for going in here, man. Thank you guys for being here with another episode of Legion Sports podcast. We will be back next week with another guest. And thank you again for being here. You guys stay out there, stay safe, stay blessed, and love.
Peace, man.
Peace.
Love.